Ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, the play's the thing. With your host, Judy Sleed. Special guest, Michael Clark of Crossroads Music. Now here's Judy.
Well, hello again. I guess you didn't expect such wonderful introduction.
Wonderful music, sounds great.
Yes, and it's not taken from anything that's famous. It's just somebody had written it especially for this show.
It's famous now.
Yes. Okay, I'm talking to Michael Clark.
Correct.
Who has a store in East Hampton, a music store, my favorite place.
Thank you.
I love music, and Michael loves music. And you have wonderful instruments in your store, and on Sunday afternoons you have people come in and just jam?
I do. First of all, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate the opportunity to come share what we do over there. And yeah, Sunday is kind of a neat thing over at Crossroads Music. What we do, it was typically a kind of a slow day for us, so we said, you know, why not open it up and let whoever wants to come in and jam. Our store is kind of unique in the fact that it's kind of a hands-on type of place. We sell instruments and give lessons and do repair and things like that, but it's a very casual atmosphere. And on Sunday, even more so, where we kind of just take everything and push it to the side and make a big circle of chairs and bring out a small drum set, and there's a piano there plugged in, and people bring their acoustic guitars and people just jam. And it's a great opportunity for people who are new in the community or not new in the community and just want to get together with and meet some other musicians, share what they know, and just play and have some fun. There's only one rule, and the rule is that you leave your ego at the door. You come in and you just have some fun. You know, there's no, and you know, we have kids that are, you know, 11, 12 years old playing up to big kids like myself who are 50 and 60 years old playing, and everybody's kind of sharing what they do.
And 70 and 80.
And 70 and 80 as well. There's no doubt, yeah. And it's a lot of fun, and it's kind of neat to, the unsuspecting shopper walking by, just, you know, we'll have the front door open a lot of times, especially during the summer, and you know, the music will just be blaring out. And it's a lot of just 3-chord things, like, you know, a lot of, you know, typical folk music, Bob Dylan or something like that, or whatever. And people will just be like, what's going on? And kind of stick their head in and just stop for a couple of minutes and enjoy what's going on.
I learned about that. A friend of mine came on this show who goes to your store on Sunday. He told me about me. What's his name? Doug.
Doug Reelman.
Doug Reelman.
Great harmonica player.
Harmonica and guitar.
And guitar, yeah, and sings, got a great voice, and yeah, he's a regular. He's there almost every week.
And so, because of him, that's how I got to know you, actually.
That is true.
And I'm very thankful for him, because you're a great guy. You do a lot of great things.
Thank you.
And I went to your store a few times. I ordered music, and you get it so fast. I couldn't believe it. Every other store around the Hamptons, and I have to wait for weeks before I'm lucky if I get the music. I'm talking about music books or sheet music. And also, I went to that jam session, and I met another of your guests, Peter Fitzgerald.
Peter, sure.
He was also a guest here at once. And he also plays.
Peter has not only plays at our Sunday jams, but we also do a monthly, what we call the Crossroads Coffee House, which we do down at the Springs Church Community Center. Not a church-related event, but we just use their space for a monthly session where people just get up and play and share their music in front of an audience. And that's also a kind of a neat thing, because one of the things that we've learned in the store is that people just want to play. They want to have a place to play. And one of the things that's lacking, I think not only out on the East End, but probably all over, is just the casual venue. You know, you have the Stephen Talkhouse, which is a wonderful thing, and you know, but it's for more polished performances. But there are the great performers like Peter Fitzgerald and Doug Reelman that you just spoke about, who are just wanting to get up on stage and share their music, and both of those guys have done that on the stage at the Crossroads Coffee House. And what we do there is we do have a door charge, and then we all the profits from that event we donate to the Crystalline Music Scholarship Fund or the Springs Food Pantry. The scholarship fund is really the only total music scholarship at East Hampton High School. And it's based on this gentleman whose name was Crystalline, who passed away in a car accident a few years back. And his dad and mom put together this scholarship fund for him. He was just coming into his own and you know, was just starting to make it, and unfortunately had this tragic accident. And so his parents put together a scholarship fund, and so the money from the coffee house, the profits from the coffee house, go to either that or to the Springs Food Pantry. We kind of, you know, swap off on that. So yeah, we're accomplishing a couple of things. We're giving people the place to play. We're giving some real good entertainment for, you know, a couple of bucks. We do it from 6 o'clock at night till 11, and people get to see some pretty good stuff. And at the same time, you know, raising some money for some good things around the town. It's wonderful.
That's wonderful. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, that's.
How come you didn't tell me?
It's in the papers, though.
And I have to talk to Doug and Peter for keeping that information from me.
Yeah, both of them put on great performances.
I thought I knew everything that goes on here.
Yeah. And one of the things that it really helps, not only the Sunday Jam, but the coffee house as well, is the teens. The teens out here on the East End there's not a lot of, again, not pointing fingers at the East End, but in any community, sometimes there's not a lot to do. And for me, music is the answer for them. It's something to do. It keeps them out of trouble. It gives them a purpose, gives them a direction, gives them common interest between themselves. And the coffee house has been a venue for them to perform at as well. Like, for example, our next one is May the 16th, and that's going to be our last one of what we call the season, because once we get into the summer, we just don't have the time to do it. So we take a couple of months off and we pick it up again in the fall.
You don't have the time, or the people are not willing to do music? They want to go swimming in the ocean?
Well, no. I know there's always people that are willing to perform. That's for sure.
Really, even but you could take it to the beach.
Well, right. Do a drum circle on the beach or something like that. We'll have to consider that.
Yes.
But we have the teen night coming up on May the 16th, and that'll be the final one so far. Really, it's a matter of finding a place to play, because the Springs Church isn't air conditioned or anything else like that. Getting a lot of people in there could be brutal during the summer months for a concert type of thing. But you know, if we did find a place outside to do it, we'd certainly be willing to do that.
The beach is a perfect place. You know, they do drumming there.
Right.
I had a couple of guests on my show who do that. They have once a week, I think Monday nights.
I've heard about
drumming.
that. Yeah, I have to try to get down to one of those.
Yes. If you don't mind the sand, it's a great thing.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do know is a little percussion myself. That's about it. But
so, Michael, where are you from?
I grew up on Long Island. I'm from Massapequa originally.
Really?
I've been out here for about 25 years. My wife and I, we've been married actually just 21 years last week, and we've raised three fine boys out here, 19, 16, and 11 years old. My 19-year-old Christopher works with me in the store.
Yes, yeah. I've seen him.
Yeah, he's the floor manager, and they're all musicians, all three of them, and my wife's the singer. And
what instruments do they play?
My son, my oldest son is right now he's just learning guitar and doing some vocals. He's a vocalist for a band called To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
No, Tequila Mockingbird.
Oh, Tequila.
Yeah.
Well,
A
I was
little
just
play on
going to
words.
say that it sounds like this and it's the other. That's very clever.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, they just played last Friday at the Stephen Talk House. They cover band doing a few originals, and then my middle son Stephen is a guitar player, fine guitar player. He was in a band called Hot Lips Houlihan for a while.
Oh my
And now they
gosh.
kind of just branched out on. And
How did he know about Hot Lips Houlihan?
you know what? I have no idea. But they come up with these names, and
Well, that's from
it's worked
Mass,
pretty
you
well.
know. that
Sure, I
was from-
remember.
Oh, you remember that?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Well, in case somebody's watching didn't know, so I thought I would just give some information. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so they do that, and then my youngest son Jackson, he plays guitar, bass, drums, and sings. So they're all pretty musical.
And your wife sings, you said.
Yeah, my wife sings, and she sings a lot at the coffee houses, sings at the Sunday jams, and sang back in the day, as they say. And
So you grew up in Massapequa. You went to school there.
I went to school, went to Massapequa High School. Yeah.
So what brought you out here?
My father was a Nassau County policeman, and when he retired, he moved out to Montauk. And when I went out, you know, once you come out here once, I mean, it's...
And then you're stuck.
Yeah, you know, it's
So
just,
your family has a house in Montauk?
My dad did. He's since passed away years ago, but well, you know, then once he was out here, then I decided to move out here, and ended up, like I said, getting married and, you know, getting a house out here. I live in East Hampton now, and worked in the city for a while. I worked for 20 years. Prior to having my store, I worked a good part of the time in Manhattan, so I did a pretty long commute, you know, sometimes 3-hour commute each way.
From East Hampton to Manhattan?
Yeah, I did.
You usually do it the other way around.
Yeah, most people do. Yeah, but you know, I wanted it both ways. I wanted to live in you know, such a beautiful place. And
So what did you do in Manhattan?
As I worked for Verizon, I worked. I was like a speech writer and a script writer for some of the VPs at Verizon, and I was a communications manager, they called it. I ran the company publication and.
Which company was it?
Verizon.
I thought you said that.
Yeah.
Verizon.
Right.
That's a phone company.
It is. Yeah. Well, it was. Now it's just about everything, wireless and all those things. And and I actually worked in the building right next to the World Trade Center.
Oh
And,
my gosh.
Yeah. So you know, a lot of things happened. A lot of things, you know, pointed
So
me
you were
back in
there-
the direction of East Hampton. And so I, you know, I made a decision after 20 years that, you know, it was time to do something a little bit different. And you know, the music store is
So you
what came
decided
next.
to buy the music. What was there in before you?
Actually, that store had been a lot of different things. It had been a computer store, and I think a florist, and an antique store, and it never really held. And now we think we found the answer. When we moved in, it was just, you know, it was 4 walls. It was empty. And you know, I had been looking for about a year because, you know, my sons had taken music lessons over at Harbor Music in Sag Harbor, which is no longer open. But
I know.
yeah, and so I looked around and said, "Geez, why is there no music store in East Hampton? It's such an artsy place. There's so much music. And there's so much
Yeah.
involvement." So I did a lot of market research, determining whether or not I thought it might be able to work, and then finally took the plunge. And so far, it's been relatively successful. We'll be open 2 years in June.
2 years.
Yeah.
Well, that was a very daring move, and it worked out. I mean, that means you have vision.
So far.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful store. You have a lot of other things there, like little knick-knack type of things. I remember I was browsing and I found some things that interested me, and
Yeah.
I bought them.
Yeah, my wife makes little jewelry. She makes jewelry out of guitar picks, and so we have
Yeah.
the little tchotchke type of items.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I find that very interesting.
Well, thank you.
And do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a brother who lives out on the West Coast, and he's an older brother, and my younger brother lives in Pennsylvania, and don't, you know, like most families, don't get to see them often enough.
It is a shame that we all have. I was just talking to my cousin, and she sounded so sad. She said it's because Mother's Day is coming, and she has 2 sons, and they both one is in London, one is in LA, and in Los Angeles, and she said, there's nobody here. And my family, my children are not here in the Hamptons. I have to travel to see them, and if that happens, I guess it's because of the convenience of cars and planes, people move.
Well, yeah, I think we, you know, for me, coming out here was, like I said, you know, once you see it, it's a natural, you know, to live here. And you know, like we all grew up in Massapequa and kind of, I guess, just ventured out. And I think, you know, I don't think that's unusual. Most families kind of do that.
And I'm finding it interesting. You said you don't play any instrument.
I don't. I'm just a music lover. I you know, like many people, I play 3 chords on a guitar and, you know, tinker around with this. I took some bass lessons, and when I was younger, I played drums for about 6 years, so I can do a little hand percussion and things like that.
So it's not like you don't know anything. You just you don't feel that you know it well enough to perform.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I play the piano, and I would never perform for anyone.
Really?
Yes. Yes. As I said, I know how to teach. I know how to tell you what to do. But I mean, if I would have to perform, I would just make 100 mistakes.
Yeah, see, that's not my strength either. You know, it wouldn't be getting up in front of people, and you know, that just would not be in my comfort zone.
You know what? I really think you really need to work at it to perform. You really need to play, and which I don't. I don't do that.
Right, you don't work hard enough to do it.
I have a piano, and all I do is dust it.
But you do give lessons, though, right?
Yes, I do. And I enjoy that because children are just so wonderful, and I feel like giving them a gift by teaching them.
That's one of the biggest values that I've seen in the store. One of the biggest rewards, you know, when you're in the store, when you're in business for just, like I said, just coming up on 2 years, you're not making a whole, you know, the store's doing well, but you know, on a personal level, you don't make a whole heck of a lot of money yet, you know. But one of the values is seeing the kids come in and seeing the progress of everybody. You know, not only the kids that are taking the lessons. We have about 200 students now that take lessons with us, and but you know.
How could you manage 200?
We pretty much, we have 3 rooms in the back where we give the lessons.
I didn't see that. You didn't tell me that either. I don't know what's wrong.
I'll have to show you that the next time you come in. Yeah, we have 3 rooms in the back. They're very small, but you know, the lessons are one-on-one, so you don't need a whole heck of a lot of space. And but seeing you know, like a 7-year-old child coming in and, you know, playing guitar for the first time or playing piano for the first time, and then seeing them where they're at, you know, a year later. Because one of our things, we're not real, the people that teach are essentially subcontractors, really, because they come in and you know, they handle their own curriculum and that type of thing. I stay clear of that. For me, it's the store. But one of the things that we do agree on with the teachers is that it's got to be fun. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
It's got to be fun.
Yes.
Keep the interest level up. You know, parents will often get caught up in, okay, what do we start them on? Acoustic guitar? Do we start them on electric guitar? Do we start them on classical guitar? Whichever one they're going to practice most on, that's the one you want to start them on, because otherwise you're wasting your money, you know. So, and that's kind of our belief, is to, you know, have fun, teach them a few things, bring a song in you want to learn. We'll teach you the basics, tie it into the songs and whatever genre of music you listen to, that type of thing. And you know, so far it's been pretty good. That's the same thing with the coffee houses too. Again, seeing the bands that started there last year, these young teen bands, for example, and then seeing them a year later and seeing how far they came. It's just so rewarding to see that and to recognize that, you know, something good is happening in the community musically. It's a great thing. And
some of those players, they write their own music.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
It is.
These little kids too, 7, 8-year-old. I wrote a song, and of course, you know, it's real basic stuff, but just the thought process is there.
Yeah, and it's a beginning.
Right, and if you keep the enthusiasm up and you motivate them to do that, continue to do that, who knows where it could go?
Yes,
you know,
that's the way I look at it also, and that's why all the children that I'm involved with, they are happy, and the parents are happy. Because if they're not, I don't want to be there.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Yes. And what's your wife's name?
My wife is Christine, and
Christine.
yeah, and she is instrumental in
and where is she from?
She's from actually Seaford, which is a town right next to Massapequa.
I know. I'm from. I came from Nassau County. I used to live in Baldwin.
Okay, yeah. So we're on the same Long Island Railroad line.
Yeah, exactly. Rockville Center, Baldwin.
Yeah,
Freeport.
Yeah, we used to be able to name them all, right up to Babylon.
Yes. It was. I used to ride the Long Island Railroad. I used to work in the city, so I remember catching the commuter train. In those days, there were smoking cars and non-smoking cars. Oh gosh, those.
The hour trip to Manhattan, absolutely. But Christine, she's. I kid around because it says on our business card, Michael Clark, President, Christine Clark, Vice President, but we know who the real boss is. It's not me. It's, you know,
she has a good business mind.
She really does. She does. She handles all the bookkeeping and all of those things, the stuff that really is important to the success of any business, and she's amazing with that. One of the first things, you know, we did when we met was she took the checkbook away from me, you know, and has done a great job with that, you know, because it was just terrible. So you got to know your limitations, as Clint Eastwood once said. But she's done a great job with that, for not only on a personal basis, but with the business as well, in terms of, you know, managing the funds and making sure that you know, there's something left over at the end of the week, and you know, sometimes it's a little tight with a new business.
Go to grocery store.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Well, that's why I know I live by myself, and sometimes I miss somebody who would help me with these things and also open the water bottles.
Right.
Sometimes it has disadvantages to being alone.
Sure, absolutely.
And I always say, I need a secretary. But no one volunteers.
Everyone needs a personal assistant at the very least. Yeah.
Yes, it's sometimes it's difficult. So, how do people learn about your business? Is it word of mouth, or you advertise, or?
We do a little local advertising, you know, in the local papers and you know, the Press and the Star and all those things. But a lot of it, we're getting a lot of referral business now. People seem to be pretty happy with the lessons and pretty happy with the products that we sell, you know, the guitars and the amps and, you know, drumsticks and all those things that people need, that in the past they really had to travel I mean, that was one of the reasons. My kids are playing guitar, and I was traveling 2 hours to buy strings. I'm like, there's a problem here, you know?
Yes.
I can't be alone in that. That's what kind of made me start thinking. And so people are kind of thankful that there's you know, that type of business in town, and also that it's a kind of a hometown type of feel when you walk in. I kind of equate it to the modern day general store, where, you know, back in the day, people, you would go in and play checkers around the potbelly stove. In my store, you come in and you play guitar around an amplifier, you know. But you know, the same conversations are happening, you know, about what's going on in town. It's kind of neat just to sit back and be the fly on the wall and listen to people when they're talking in the community about what's hot in the community and what's not. And be a good place for a politician to sit down and listen, because they would see what the real true feel of well, at least the musical community, what they're thinking.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, I went to the store like 2-3 times, and then just by chance I asked you if, you know, if you could get me some sheet music, and I said yes, and I was so surprised. You said yes so readily, and you took the information down, and you gave me a call in less than a week. It's here. I mean, I had to go 2-3 times. Sometimes I had to go to Huntington, someplace, a big store there. Right. Because, like you said, I couldn't get it closer. It was a big deal. And I'm just so happy that you're so close by, and you just do a great job with that.
We like to think that we're providing a good, you know, a necessary service for the community.
And you also fix things. Do you also tune pianos?
No, I don't tune pianos. One of the things I was actually just going to touch on is there's so much out there. There's so much to do. But because I have this storefront, a lot of people will come to me anyway and say, do you know where I can? Or do you know where I can get a DJ? Do you know where I can get to do that? So people drop off their cars like crazy, and I just refer people back out. You know, for somebody who come in and say, you need a piano tuned, I'll have them call like Stephen Nickman or somebody else that does that kind of thing. Or, yeah, right, everybody knows. And, you know, and so we do that with a lot of people. And, you know, if I get good feedback back on somebody that I referred, we keep referring them. And you know, that works out. You know, and it's kind of, you know, again, that whole community feel. You know, we have a community bulletin board there. You come in, there's a lot of things on there, and you see people checking that out more and more because you know, it's a place to go to look for things, you know, like that. You know, where's a DJ? Where's somebody who just wants to get together to jam? Or
and just I have one more question quickly. How far do your customers come from? Like, not only, because your store is in East Hampton. Correct. So they come from just the neighboring towns or even further away?
Pretty much it's just the neighboring towns. I get a lot of phone orders because I'm a Fender dealer and a Behringer dealer and things like that, so people will look that up online and give me a call and I'll be able to help them that way. But mostly, like I would say, you know, Southampton East is
and
my
Sag
market.
Harbor.
Yeah, and Sag Harbor,
Since Andrew isn't there anymore.
Right, exactly.
Well, this is wonderful, and I wish we had more time. I wanted to ask you about all the people who come in and play, and who's your favorite, or who you like best, but time is running out, so...
well, maybe I'll come back again and bring someone who can play a few songs.
Yeah, that would be great.
Serenade you a bit.
So thank you so much for coming and talk to me, and goodbye. I sign off by saying goodbye, everybody. And next week, I don't know who I'm going to have. Somebody, I have a few more. As always, an interesting guest.
Thank you so much.
And I have to go and check out those places. And I really wanted to come in one Sunday.